Hello students, from past few classes we are solving the examples on metric spaces. Until now we have solved 4 examples. Next, the 5th and 6th example we are going to solve in this class. So the next one, 5th example is example number 5. Let x, d be any metric space. Be any metric space. Then we have to show that the function d1, which is defined by d1 of x comma y. d1 of x comma y is equal to the d of x comma y divided by 1 plus d of x comma y, and this is for all x comma y belongs to capital X is a metric. So this d1 function, which is defined in such a manner, is also a metric, on X. So this we have to show. See once again what is given. So it is given that xd is a metric space, which means that d is already a metric. Then if the function d1, which is defined as d1 of x comma y, is equal to the d of x comma y upon 1 plus d of x comma y, then we have to show that this d1 is again a metric on the set X. We will solve this example. This is a very important example. This is very important example as it is asked so many times in the examination. We will solve this example. So its solution is given that x comma d is a metric space. Now we have to show that d1 is also a metric on X. As d is already a metric on X, therefore d satisfies all 4 conditions required for being a metric. And as d1 is defined in terms of d by this definition which is given in the question, therefore from this definition of d, it is clear that d also satisfies first 3 conditions. Those are the non-negativity, coincidence and symmetry, which can be verified orally also, as we have done in the earlier examples. Okay, I am not going to repeat all those things. Next one. Now to show that d1 is also a metric on X, it is sufficient to show that d1 satisfies the triangle inequality. So we'll establish the triangle inequality. To prove the triangle inequality of d1, we'll use the triangle inequality of d. To show that d1 is a metric on X, we have to prove the triangle inequality. And for that purpose, we'll use the triangle inequality of d. Okay. Since d is a metric on X, therefore for all x, y, z belongs to capital X, we have, as d is a metric on X, therefore it satisfies the triangle inequality. So use the triangle inequality of d. So therefore for all x, y, z belongs to X, we have d of x comma y is less than equal to d of x comma z plus d of z comma y. Okay. Now next one, we will add 1 to both the sides. So which implies 1 plus d of x comma y is less than equal to 1 plus d of x comma z plus d of z comma y. Next one, we will take the reciprocal of both sides. Okay. So this implies, after taking reciprocals of both sides, we will get 1 upon 1 plus d of x comma y. Now after taking the reciprocals, the relationship will get reversed. So therefore this will be greater than equal to 1 upon 1 plus d of x comma z plus d of z comma y. Again we will multiply both sides by the minus sign and we will get, this implies minus 1 upon 1 plus d of x comma y, and now again multiplying by minus sign, the relationship will again reverse and we will get, now this will be less than equal to minus 1 upon 1 plus d of x comma z plus d of z comma y. Next we will add 1 to both the sides and we will get, so adding 1 to both the sides, we will get 1 plus, here it is minus 1 upon 1 plus d of x comma y, and this will be less than equal to 1 plus, it is minus 1 upon 1 plus d of x comma z plus d of z comma y. Okay. Now I'll simplify this one. So after taking the LCM of left hand side and right hand side separately and simplifying, we will get, to the left hand side we will get, it is 1 into this quantity. So we will get 1 plus d of x comma y, and this minus 1 will remain as it is. So minus 1 divided by 1 plus d of x comma y. Now this will be less than equal to the right hand side again, we will get the LCM as the 1 plus d of x comma z plus d of z comma y. So LCM to the right hand side is 1 plus d of x comma z plus d of z comma y, and in the numerator we will get 1 into this quantity, we will get this same quantity as it is, which is 1 plus d of x comma z plus d of z comma y, and this minus 1 term will remain as it is, minus 1. So we have obtained this much. Now observe here, plus 1 will get cancelled with this minus 1. Here to the right hand side again, plus 1 will get cancelled with minus 1, and we have left with, so this implies d of x comma y divided by 1 plus d of x comma y, and this is less than equal to, it is less than equal to the d of x comma z plus d of z comma y divided by 1 plus d of x comma z plus d of z comma y. This we have obtained. Okay. Now this right hand side after dividing separately can be written in the form, so which is equal to, the first term will be the d of x comma z divided by 1 plus d of x comma z plus d of z comma y. This is our first term to the right hand side. Then the second term on the right hand side is, it is d of z comma y divided by 1 plus d of x comma z plus d of z comma y. Okay. Next one. Now again this can be written as, this is less than equal to, this is less than equal to d of x comma z upon 1 plus d of x comma z. Why it can be written in such a manner? Because we are reducing the denominator. Okay. After taking out this term from the denominator, which is non-negative term, therefore obviously the value of the quotient will be either greater or equal to the earlier value of this quotient. Okay. So this first quotient on the right hand side is now less than equal to this new quotient. Similarly in the second term also, plus in the second term we will get d of z comma y upon 1 plus d of z comma y. Here again we are dropping this term d of x comma z from the denominator. Obviously this term is non-negative by the definition of the metric. Therefore as this term is non-negative, which means that we are reducing the value of the denominator, and hence the value of the quotient will be increased or will remain same. So therefore this new quantity of the second term will be greater than equal to the earlier quantity of the second term on the right hand side. Okay. Now observe what we have shown. We have shown that d of x comma y upon 1 plus d of x comma y is less than equal to the d of x comma z upon 1 plus d of x comma z plus d of z comma y upon 1 plus d of z comma y. Now recall the definition of d1. So by the definition of d1, it is clear that the left hand side is d1 of x comma y and the right hand side is d1 of x comma z plus d1 of z comma y. So we have shown that d1 of x comma y is less than equal to d1 of x comma z plus d1 of z comma y. And what is this? This is the triangle inequality. Therefore triangle inequality holds for d1 also. Okay. So therefore d1 satisfies triangle inequality, and hence d1 is also a metric. Hence d1 also is a metric on the given non-empty set X. So in this way we have solved this example. As told earlier, this is a very important example as it is asked many times in the examination. So likewise we have solved this fifth example. Now next one we will move to the sixth example. Example number 6. Example number 6. Let X be the set of all sequences of complex numbers. Let X be the set of all sequences of complex numbers. We define this function. We define the function d by d of x comma y. It is equal to the summation over n equal to 1 to infinity of 1 upon 2 raised to n into, in the numerator we have the modulus of xn minus yn divided by, in the denominator we have 1 plus mod of xn minus yn, mod of xn minus yn, and this is for all x equal to sequence xn, y equal to sequence yn belongs to the set capital X. Okay, so capital X is the set of all sequences of complex numbers, and the function d is defined in such a way. Then we have to show that d is a metric on the set X. Okay, then show that d is a metric on X. We have to show that. Then we have to show that d is a metric on X. We will solve this example. So solution of this example is, we observe here that the function d is well defined. Why it is well defined? Because we observe that the nth term of the series, which series? This series, summation over n equal to 1 to infinity 1 upon 2 raised to n into mod of xn minus yn upon 1 plus mod of xn minus yn. So nth term of this series is less than, it is less than 1 upon 2 raised to n. Why it is less than 1 upon 2 raised to n? Because we know that if you observe this quantity which is in its product, this quantity is less than 1. Okay, why it is less than 1? Because we are dividing mod of xn minus yn by mod of xn minus yn plus 1. So as the denominator is greater than numerator, therefore value of this factor is less than equal to 1, and therefore the nth term of this given series is obviously is less than 1 upon 2 raised to n, and therefore the function d is well defined, and therefore the function d is well defined. Function d is well defined. Okay, so it is this. Now next one. Now to prove that this d is a metric on the given set X, we have to show that d satisfies the triangle inequality. So to prove that d is a metric on X, we have to prove the triangle inequality. We have to prove the triangle inequality. And for this, firstly, we will prove one result. We will obtain a result. Okay, for proving the triangle inequality, first of all we will obtain an equality. So let us suppose that alpha and beta are any two non-negative real numbers with alpha less than equal to beta. So let 0 is less than equal to alpha is less than equal to beta, means alpha and beta are any two non-negative real numbers with alpha less than equal to beta. Then we have alpha plus alpha beta. Then we have alpha less than equal to beta, which implies that alpha plus alpha beta means non-negative quantity alpha into beta. We are adding to both the sides. Okay. Therefore, the relation will not change. It will remain as it is. So, as alpha is less than equal to beta, therefore, alpha plus alpha beta will be less than equal to beta plus alpha beta. Next one, we will take alpha common from the left hand side and beta from the right hand side, and we will get, this implies that alpha into 1 plus beta will be less than equal to beta into 1 plus alpha. We have taken alpha common from the left hand side and beta common from the right hand side, and we have obtained this relationship. Now we will divide both the sides by 1 plus alpha into 1 plus beta, and we will get, okay. So dividing both sides by the product of these two terms, 1 plus alpha into 1 plus beta, we get, so divide both sides by 1 plus alpha into 1 plus beta. See here what we get. So we get alpha upon 1 plus beta divided by 1 plus alpha into 1 plus beta. This will be less than equal to, beta into 1 plus alpha divided by 1 plus alpha into 1 plus beta. Okay. Now this is nothing but, now see here what we'll get after simplification. So 1 plus beta from the numerator will get cancelled with 1 plus beta of the denominator on the left hand side, and on the right hand side this 1 plus beta of numerator will get cancelled with 1 plus alpha of denominator, and we will be left with alpha upon 1 plus alpha, and it is less than equal to beta upon 1 plus beta. Let us denote this relation by number 1. So this relation we are going to use while proving the triangle inequality. Then for any x which is equal to sequence xn, y which is equal to sequence yn, and z which is equal to sequence zn, belongs to the given set capital X. We have we have 0 is less than equal to mod of xn minus yn, less than equal to mod of xn minus yn, and this is less than equal to mod of xn minus zn plus mod of zn minus yn. Okay, we know that absolute value of real number is non-negative, so therefore we have this relationship. Now if we consider this absolute value of xn minus yn as alpha and absolute value of xn minus zn plus zn minus yn as beta, and then if we use the relation number 1 here, then see whatever we'll get. So let us suppose that this is alpha and this much is beta. Then by using the relation number 1 which we have proved just now, we will get alpha upon 1 plus alpha means absolute value of xn minus yn upon 1 plus alpha means 1 plus absolute value of xn minus yn. Okay, this is the left hand side, and it is less than equal to beta upon 1 plus beta, means beta means absolute value of xn minus zn plus mod of zn minus yn, and it is to be divided by 1 plus mod of xn minus zn plus mod of zn minus yn. Okay, this we have obtained by using the relation number 1. Next one, now this is equal to, we will divide two terms on the numerator separately by the denominator, and we will obtain as this is equal to the mod of xn minus zn divided by 1 plus mod of xn minus zn plus mod of zn minus yn. Okay, this is our first term on the right hand side, and plus the second term on the right hand side is mod of zn minus yn divided by 1 plus mod of xn minus zn plus mod of zn minus yn. Next one, now observe here in the first term on the right hand side, if we reduce the denominator by mod of zn minus yn, then the value of the quotient will be greater than equal to the earlier. Similarly, in the second term on the right hand side, if we reduce the denominator by the term mod of xn minus zn, then the value of this second quotient will be again less than equal to the new quotient. So therefore, what we'll get here? So therefore, we'll get this is less than equal to, this is less than equal to mod of xn minus zn divided by 1 plus mod of xn minus zn. This is the first one term, plus the second term is mod of zn minus yn divided by 1 plus mod of zn minus yn. So this we have obtained here. Okay, now we will multiply both sides of this inequality by 2 raised to minus n. Multiplication by 2 raised to minus n means multiplication by 1 upon 2 raised to n, and then we will sum over n. So multiplying both sides by 2 raised to minus n and summing over n, we will get summation over n equal to 1 to infinity 1 upon 2 raised to n into modulus of xn minus yn upon 1 plus mod of xn minus yn, and now this will be less than equal to summation over n equal to 1 to infinity 1 upon 2 raised to n into mod of xn minus zn upon 1 plus mod of xn minus zn. This is the first term on the right hand side, and the second term on the right hand side will get as plus, it will be summation over n equal to 1 to infinity 1 upon 2 raised to n into mod of zn minus yn upon 1 plus mod of zn minus yn. This is the second term on the right hand side. Now, if you recall the definition of the d function of this example, then what we have obtained? So this implies that d of x comma y, here the left hand side is nothing but it is d of x comma y. So therefore, d of x comma y is less than equal to the first term on the right hand side. Here this is d of x comma z. So d of x comma z, then plus as it is, and the second term on the right hand side is d of z comma y. So plus d of z comma y. So this we have shown. So therefore, triangle inequality holds. Therefore, triangle inequality. Therefore, triangle inequality holds. for D. Okay, therefore we have shown that the triangle inequality is satisfied by the function D, and hence what we got here? D. One important remark on this example is that we will write down as a note, and that note is the metric space of this example. The metric space X, D of above example. The metric space X, D of above example is known as, the Frechet space. The Frechet, F-R-E-C-H-E-T, Frechet space. So it is known as the Frechet space. This is also important remark. Okay, this is important remark. As told earlier, such type of remarks and notes are many times asked in the objective type of questions. So we have shown that XD is a metric space, and this metric space is called as a Frechet space. With this example, we will stop here. We have solved 6 examples till now on the metric spaces. So we'll stop here and we'll continue in the next class with some new concepts. Till then, we'll stop here. Thank you.